Information in a developing story on Detroit's new candidate for mayor.
Regardless if I get one vote or not, I'm going to speak seriously. It started out as a joke, but I'm not a joke.
Joke or not, that was 31-year-old Mike Dugeon, a name very similar to another write-in candidate, Mike Dugeon, who's running for Detroit mayor.
All right, Dugeon, the guy we just saw, says he thought about it for a while, then decided to register his name as a write-in candidate. And he admitted to 7 Action News that he's never voted, but now he wants to speak for the average Detroiter.
So what made this guy decide to run? Was it another candidate or a TV reporter?
7 Action News reporter, investigative reporter Ross Jones, now live downtown Detroit. And Ross, this has a lot of people talking and asking some questions.
And I'm one of them, Stephen. Good evening. I have been covering a lot of stories here at Channel 7. Welcome to The Strangest. You have never heard of Mike Dugeon, but he's hoping you remember his name and write it in to be Detroit's next mayor. Today, he became a candidate. The only question is, who put him up to it? His name is Mike Dugeon. And when WJBK reporter Charlie LaDuff showed up at his door this morning, he was initially spooked.
For one, it blew my mind to see Charlie LaDuff, since he started Charlie LaDuff at my steps,
right.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So initially, I'm thinking it was something I did wrong.
Until, he says, the reporter suggested he run for Detroit mayor as a write-in candidate.
Initially, it was brought to my attention to kind of stir things up.
The votes he could be splitting are those that Mike Dugeon is hoping to get as a write-in candidate. Dugeon surprisingly failed to get on the ballot when he didn't follow election protocol. Now Dugeon is another surprise Dugeon will have to face.
I think initially it's because of my name. I have basically the same name as the mayor candidate that's running for it, and I guess it was, initially he was like, well, wouldn't it be funny to see who would split the vote?
Dugeon says LaDuff and a cameraman then followed him down to the Elections Bureau, where he officially filed this morning as a candidate. LaDuff told me on the phone that he didn't put Dugeon up to anything, that he was hearing from sources that Dugeon was considering entering the race and only asked him if he still planned to.
He was like, man, we're gonna just, he was like, it seems like you're thinking about it, man. And he was like, I don't want to press you, because then you could say I pressed you. So I'm gonna just sit here for a minute and let you decide.
And then you decided.
And I just thought about it. A smirk popped up on my face, and I said, why not? Let's go on down there.
And so LaDuff went down there with you to the city-county building?
Yeah, he followed me.
Today, a Dugeon campaign official said he had been hearing for weeks that up to 3 men with similar-sounding names had considered entering the mayoral race. One of them was Dugeon. Today, Elections Director Daniel Baxter said the last-minute candidate complicates an already messy race, but it wouldn't be the first time.
The guy is 31. He's never sought elected office before, and he is a barber by trade. Does it concern you that this might make a mockery out of the mayor's race?
This is Detroit.
So as you might expect, this story has a lot of fingers pointing at a lot of different people. Let's keep score here. Dugeon is pointing at LaDuff. LaDuff is pointing at Dugeon. Mike Dugeon is pointing at either Benny Napoleon or Tom Barrow. Barrow and Napoleon are pointing at where they're not really sure, and you can add me to that list. One thing we do know for sure, we have not heard the end of this very bizarre story, Carolyn.
Let's hope the voters will have the last say in all of this, Ross, because it's kind of going like this. So, all right, thank you for trying to clear up a confusing story already.
And spell carefully.
And spell carefully.